Yo, what is up everybody? It's your boy Big Cat 188. In today's video, we're going to be going over part 1 of a 2-part series that I'm going to be making on the DCUO mods and sockets. So in today's video, we're pretty much going to cover everything base related, all the base related mods, aka the white socket mods that you see in your gear, and the mods that some people still don't know exist, and they are the generator mods. Some people still don't know about those, so I'll be going over that in today's video. Alright, so first things first, if you go to your inventory and you just look at your gear, and say you look at your hands, so you see how your hands has that white socket mod after all your stats. I'll circle it on screen, but you see how the hand socket, I have obviously empowered channeling so I don't get interrupted when I do my rotation. But on a fresh piece of gear, what it'll look like is this. So like if you look at the legs, it says the leg socket is empty and you have nothing there. Some people are still confused on where to get that, and it's not entirely somebody's fault. You might be a new character, returning person, or you might just not be informed about these things, because this is like a part of DLC content, but you pretty much are required to have legendary to really play this game anyway, so everybody has access to this. So we're going to take a look at how to get those white socket mods. So first thing you have to do is you have to have a base, and everybody gets a base, so check your journal for like a deed and just follow all the steps that they make you do until you get your base. So inside your base, everybody has this right here, which is your mainframe. So you see how I have all these leveled up, and obviously my sidekick, I don't use that, so I don't have it leveled up at all. It costs source marks to level these up. And what these socket mods or white mods will be are these tactical mods right here. It will cost 50 for you to upgrade it to tactical mod 1, or 25 for 1, 2, and then it'll be 7 for boost, so like a total of like 57 total source marks, I believe. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 57, somewhere around those lines. So just make sure you buy all 3 of these. If you don't have enough source marks, go run some missions and get enough source marks. Also, you want your supply drop, orbital strike, and maybe backup if you're that type of person, but I really love orbital strike and supply drop. Those are like DCUO's must, like orbital strike, supply drop, and tactical mods. So if we look at the description for tactical mods at the max boost, which you will have, like there's no point in really not having that. Just make sure you just save up the amount to get that. Just make sure you have it. So it says temporarily boost the effectiveness of items supplied by tactical mods 1 and 2, and gives you a contribute towards your league if you are inside of league, and it gives you like some prestige points, when that really doesn't really matter all that much. So that is where you buy your tactical mods. And before I show you where to actually get it, you have to come down to your base. If you don't have a 3-story base, you might have a single-story base. Make sure you come to the generator. It looks something like this, pretty much along these lines. And you want to go in here, go to power and level, and you want to make sure you have your cells energized so you can actually use everything. And after you do that, then you can finally use your base mods. You have to come back to the beginning of your base near the door, and everybody has this in their base. It'll be a dispenser right here, and it will have everything that you purchase at your base mainframe. So tactical mod 3, like right here, for weapon, helmet, neck, chest, everything. These are the only types of gear that can have white socket mods in them, and they all give you a different bonus. So like that piece of legs that I have, so if I grab legs right here, if I grab legs and I go to my inventory, it will pop up as this little capsule right here, and I can choose between a few things. It really depends on your build. Like this is where knowing your rotation, your loadout, and your build matters, because I don't use any of these. I use fireball on my tank, so obviously I have that on my tank, but all these other things I don't even need. So in reality, I do not have to put anything here. I don't have to put anything in my leg socket. I just do, just because. But say something more important like my hands. Without my hands, I'm gonna actually show you guys too. If I take my hands off, boom, you see that little symbol? I can be interrupted if somebody presses square or they interrupt me, like an ad or something, on all my rotations. So I want that empowered channeling, because it says channel superpowers are no longer vulnerable to interrupt. They prevent standard control effects and increase defense and toughness by 5% while active. And that's what I want. So now if I put this on and do my loadout again, I don't have that symbol and I can no longer be interrupted. So that is why you want your white socket mods, and you need to have them for all of your gear pieces. So your weapon, helmet, back, everything. So if you're like a DPS, this is where, you know, it depends on what role you're playing, because you're not going to have the same white socket mods on your gear depending on your role. When you have an armory, you can set up two different armories for different roles. So if you like to tank and DPS, or DPS and heal, or DPS and troll, you need to have your own separate gear for each of those roles. So for me, I'm a DPS, so what I like to do, because I'm not a precision based DPS, I don't even care about blast adapter at all, because that is weapon attacks blast your target and 5 other nearby enemies for additional damage. This can occur once every 20 seconds. I don't care about that. I don't care about replenishing, because it's really not going to give me much of anything, and I don't care about restorative. I could have replenishing and restorative, but I rarely, if ever, use it, because I'm completely might based, I'm completely power based. I don't even swing my weapon, not one bit. So what I do is I get absorption adapter, simply because, you know, say I might get into like a little situation, I can just bam, hit it, you know what I'm saying, and a shield will pop up, and it comes in clutch. So this is where knowing your rotation, knowing your loadout, knowing what your whole build is about is so very important. So let's take a look at the helmet. This will be the last one we'll look at. They go over a bunch of abilities. Some of these are iconic powers, and if you don't know what iconic powers are, if you go over to traits and go down to iconic powers, these are these powers right here, and they just have white socket mods for some of them, because some people like to use them. Sometimes they can be helpful. So if I go back to choosing between these, so I don't have fire burst in my loadout, so this is irrelevant. I don't use iconic power word of power. I don't use the iconic power metallic or metabolic boost. I do use volcanic calamity, so that could be extremely helpful. But if you guys watch my DPS video, on like my best fire DPS video, I actually use critical fiery weapon, because I want to be able to clip out of the inferno animation. So I'm actually going to show you guys what I mean right here. If I call an inferno, that's a long animation, and I'm pretty much missing out on damage for about 2 seconds, like a second and a half, 2 seconds, and I don't want that. As a DPS, you want to do damage as fast as possible in the shortest amount of time. So now if I do it and I clip fiery weapon, the thing is, real quick, if you look at fiery weapon, it literally says ignite your weapon, increasing damage of your weapon attack for a short amount of time. I don't use my weapon like I stated previously, but because of the white mod, the white socket mod, now it says my fiery weapon gives me critical strike chance, and that critical strike chance applies to my abilities. So my abilities, my superpowers that I'm using on the ads, can now crit, and that's exactly what I want. So it makes it useful, and it also helps me speed up my rotation. So when I call an inferno, I can clip out of it by holding L2 circle and then bam, click X, and it'll clip out just like this right here, bam. And you see how that animation is canceled, and I can get right into the rotation. So that is the importance of white socket mods. So make sure you just pick the correct ones for your role and for your build, because you know what one person might have, they might be the same role as you, but they might not have the same abilities and the same setup as you, so it might be different. They know how they play. This is kind of like playstyle dependent as well, because you know different powers have different abilities and things. So you might be able to do some things for like quantum, you can quantum tunnel, so you might want to have something that helps you when you quantum tunnel and things like that, and it might not be prevalent on another controller type such as mental. So that is pretty much everything you need to know about white socket mods. What I do also want to touch on is the other base mods that people don't know about, and those are the generator base mods. So if you go back down to your basement or wherever, if you have a single story base, go to your generator and you go over to mods. You see these mods right here, people don't even know what these are, and you're missing out on so much extra damage, resto, dot, whatever your role is. So you see how you can have a total of 4 of these, and the highest right now are the V36 for the Metal Part 2 content, and 683 might it gives me 4 times. That's a lot of might. That's like a little bit over 2,000 might that I'm gaining from this. So if I didn't have that at all, I would be pretty much just weaker. And then I have dominance for my tank role, and you could have resto right here, and I'm pretty sure you can have vitalization if you're a troller, but I have dominance because I do play tank role sometimes, and it's giving me an extra 341 dominance. And the thing about these are passive. These are always there no matter what role you switch to, no matter if you switch your powers or whatever. The only way these can change is if you decide to change them. And so I'm going to show you guys how to actually get these in a second. But if you look right here real fast at the general mods right here, these are for your base's teleport. So this Urgent Warfronts, Gotham, Metropolis, and Base and League Hall are the 3 that you want, because these allow you to teleport literally everywhere. With Urgent Warfronts, I can travel from everywhere to Thanagar. You literally see a list right here. With Gotham and Metropolis, I can travel anywhere in Gotham and Metropolis. That means the police stations, anywhere outside of Gotham and Metropolis. I can travel anywhere. I can travel to like the Superman statue everywhere inside of Gotham and Metropolis. In bases and league halls, I can teleport to my friend's base and my friend's like league halls. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how to get all of these things. The Affinity Mods, these are actually weird. I'll talk about these in another video. These only affect if you have elite gear. So I'll cover that in the next video's topic, because I will be covering mods more in depth about mods. So that'll be a part of the part 2 of this video. So make sure you check that out when I upload this. Make sure you stay tuned for that. So how do you get these mods right here? So if you run a mission such as your duos, dailies, it doesn't matter what you do, your raids, alerts, it does not matter what you do. Sometimes the bosses drop mod boxes. Sometimes they drop mod boxes. And when they drop those mod boxes, you want to make sure you get those, especially if you don't have these maxed out. You want to max these out as soon as you possibly can, because you're always going to get gear easy, but sometimes those mod boxes can be a nuisance to kind of grab. So the mod boxes will look like this, and they allow you to choose from all of the main stat lines like I just showed you. So if I open it up, you see how I have dominance, health, might, power, precision, restoration. Obviously you want to get the ones for like the roles you play the most. As you could tell from before, if your alternate role is like a healer, you want to have resto for your support mods on your generator mods. And if your DPS role, you're mainly might based or precision based, you want to make sure you get all 4 of them. You don't want to mix and match. You don't want to get some resto, some vite, because first off, we don't need vitalization. If you're not a controller, vitalization is completely useless. You don't want that at all. So you want to just completely fill it up with what your role is. If I'm a tank, for my ones, I'm gonna get health. I don't care about power, because we just don't care about power. We want to have the most amount of sustainability. We're the tank, we have to stay alive. You want health and you want dominance for your support. And then for might or precision, you can put whatever you want, because it's kind of like an irrelevant socket, irrelevant like little piece for you. But you can have them. But if you like to DPS on the side, well, make sure you put might or precision depending on what you like, So for me, I have them maxed out already, but I can just grab this, and I can also like just donate it to my league, and we can get some prestige points from that. And that's probably what I'll end up doing. As you can see, I have the dominance one and health one right here, and that's probably what I'll end up doing. So once you find those boxes, like I said, through missions and stuff, make sure you get those and choose the one that's correct for your role, and make sure you come to your base and you put them in the mods right here. Bam, bam, bam. And just make sure you do that. You're gonna have a total of 12 of these. As you can tell, you have one for offense, support, and health and power. So yeah guys, that's pretty much everything I want to mention in today's video. We've covered the white socket mods, we covered the generator mods, and these are all things people are missing and they just are unaware of, they're uninformed, and they don't know it, but it's really making them weak. And they're like, well, why am I so weak? Like, I have the max gear. Well, this is why, because there's a whole bunch of other like little accessory item things that they don't know about, and it's making them severely weak compared to everybody else who knows what they're doing. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm BigCat188 and I'm out. Peace.